Morning, man. Watching this NQ push down to POC here at 200. Morning, morning. I'm just watching for a lower high here. We bounced view up on NQ, but watching our value high for a lower high. RTY holding it as resistance as well. This should be a decision making area.
10 minutes ago now to the top of the bottom of the hour, we get the EI crude oil inventories forecast is for a build of
This like 230 continues to hold. 220, 230
looking at
continues
the
to
EI
hold on
crude oil
NQ.
inventories
We go
forecast is for
down.
no change. Prior was a build of 7.6980 million. Gasoline inventories looking for a draw of 1 million. Prior was a draw of 2.724 million. Distillate inventories looking for a build of 0.811 million. Prior was a build of 3.635 million. And EIA crude Cushing inventories, prior was a build of 0.690 million. Looking to last night's data from the API crude oil stock change came in at a draw of 4.2 million compared to the expected draw of 1.8 million. Cushing stock change came in at a build of 1.7 million. Gasoline stock change came in at a draw of 0.9 million, and distillate stock change came in at a build of 1.6 million.
I think this goes to 180 here off the failure at 230. Watching for one more leg down potentially here on NQ. It's 170, 180 is what I want to see. We are at NQPOC, but I think think we do it. ES down to value low here into 330. And NQ into 171.80. Just into view up on 15. Just need to see sell side show a bit more pressure here.
Mexico's President Shane Baum says we will soon host Canadian PM Carney in Mexico.
I am out 1 here into 180. There's your ES target into 330. Okay, let's see what happens. This is 30-second opening range low here and our value low on NQ. Big pivot. You should be like 30%, I'm sorry, like 90% risk off position here if you're short from 220, 230. As we push down in, let's see if we hold here or if they rotate us below. Again, I think this is a great risk off until we can flip this.
There's some further detail in regards to the US weighing options for penalizing Russia beyond the India tariffs. Trump's additional 25% tariff on India for its purchases of Russian oil could be just the first shot he aims at Moscow's energy revenues ahead of a Friday deadline, as the US weighs options to get Putin to end the war against Ukraine. In addition to punishing buyers of Russian energy with tariffs, the Trump administration is considering new sanction on Moscow's covert fleet of oil tankers and several entities that enable them to operate, according to people familiar with the matter.
That was my first trade of the day.
5 minutes ago now to begin the EIA crude oil inventories looking for no change at 0 million. Prior was a build of 7.698 million. Gasoline inventories looking for a draw of 1 million. Prior was a draw of 2.724 million. Distilling inventories looking for a build of 0.811 million. Prior was a build of 3.635 million. And crude Cushing inventories, prior was a build of 0.690 million.
Okay. This can definitely continue to fall. I just need to see these areas flip on both ES and NQ and show that as offer if we're actually going to do it. This is a really great place to risk off and just reevaluate, but we will need to see these flip very clearly. Just watch this 322, 325 area on ES for potential absorption and then recovery like this. We want to be aware of a potential like that, just in case. The way that we have this labeled on ES is, my ES levels are set for the day. We have no ability to continue until we can push through this. You should think of this area as absorption and look above and fail until we can push above and hold. And then we can rotate up. And then I have targets labeled for that. But until we are able to do this, this is just going to be where you have to look to see if sell side absorbs. And then it's just a rotation once we get back into here as we push down.
US stocks move lower. S&P 500 up 0.04%, Nasdaq up 0.13%, and Dow down 0.17%.
There's very clearly someone buying here at this 320 and 325. They were buying here yesterday as well, so very interested in it. If this fails, right, then we can look for this movement on ES, which I have labeled for the gap fill. but we have very clear levels on ES of where we could head. But until then, this is just like bottom of balance as we push down here. So this is why we've risked off. Very clear like rectangle that we're trading in right now between 349 and this 320. Oops. Let's see what they do. Got a minute
So a
40
reminder
for a
later
decision to be made.
at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we get Fed's Cook and Fed's Collins speaking, and then Fed's Daily at 10 past 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So according to a memo here, Trump administration urges nations to reject UN plastics treaty that caps plastic production.
See if we can hold this 330 on look above for rotations back
1
up.
minute to go now. We'll lead with the EIA crude oil inventories.
Same thing on ES, back to 200. If we can hold this pivot, not much here, other than looking for that long back up to our VWAP resistance above. Again, like this is our low until proven otherwise.
Further detail into that, the US has sent letters to at least a handful of nations urging them to reject the goal for global pact that includes limits on plastic production and plastic chemical additives at the start of the UN plastic treaty discussions in Geneva.
So there's your rotation back up to our resistance here. This is where we watch to see if an offer sticks. I don't have a pink line on my chart. Where do you see a pink line?
10 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's a Globex VWAP.
Draw of 3.029 million and draw of 3.029 million compared to the expected no change of 0 million. Gasoline inventories, a draw of 1.323 million, a draw of 1.323 million compared to the expected draw of 1 million. Distillate inventories, a draw of 0.565 million, a draw of 0.565 million compared to the expected build of 0.811
Watching
million.
ES here.
Crude Cushing inventories, a build of 0.453 million.
Let's see if we find a higher low. We would like to see this value edge hold if it's going to do it. We're going to get a higher low here. Same thing on NQ with this 180. If we're going to go up, if not, then this could
We have posted
fail.
out the EIA weekly petroleum status report
down.
on the feed for you
Watching
to read
POC
through.
of previous candle, right? See what they do. Good bounce so far at 180, but we need to see a push over our POC here. There it is. Let's see what happens. If we can get more, or if they offer it here. Need to be able to push through this.
US crude futures hold gains up 0.8% after the EIA storage report. So back to the point about, or the headline, that the Trump administration urges nations to reject the UN plastics treaty that caps plastic production. Further detail in communication dated July 25th and circulated to nations at the start of negotiations on Monday. The US laid out its red lines for negotiations that put it in direct opposition to over 100 nations that have supported those measures.
So kind of leading down here. Just watching to see if ES can continue to maintain here at our value edge. If we can, and NQ can continue to support here at our POC on the 15, we're okay still. But if these things flip and go offer, then we have to look for more down. I'm just treating this as balance for right now between our two zones.
And Brent crude futures extend gains up 1.1% after the EIA storage report.
$180 bid again, pushing back up to our offer here. Same thing on NQ, on ES, so we push up into 35. Just watching to see if we can actually push higher, or if this actually will continue to just find our seller here and then rotate down like so. Same thing on ES. It's like we're holding our value edge. This is the most important thing from our look below and now hold. We now need to see this push above for more, or this is going to be where we offer. Right? So this has to be where we're watching to see what happens. Do sellers continue to hold this and then rotate us down? Can we look for shorts back below value, or can we push back up? Right, but as long as we're continuing to find a bid from our look below value and now a look above value, we can rotate up. So that's my current focus is just that interaction there. Same thing on NQ. And this can easily hold here, rotate into this, fail, right, and then look down. And then we can look for more downside once we're below this, but I've got to see it. It's a high volume edge, HVE. All right, I'm out one here
So the
on
Fed pick
NQ
likely
from
to
our
work
180.
in the governor position be previously vetted by the Senate.
It's just the same trade, but from the opposite side, where we took our short. We're now closing out some of our long, just in case. We can flip this 220, 230, then probably more upside.
So Trump advisors are pushing for a temporary Fed governor to fill the seat. A short-term Fed pick would give Trump more time on his chair choice, and the Fed pick likely to work in the government and be previously vetted by the Senate.
Yes, this is a great risk off as well. Just following our pathing off of the look below and then the hold of our value edge is supportive again. Okay, move stops up into next target. And there we go. There's your rotation again. ES just did a value to value trade, right? Value low hold off of a failure at the lows. Back up to our value high here. There's your full rotation. The I'm only gonna be here for like another hour. And I got a dip. But it's okay. Hour's a lot of time. I'm flat for right now. If you have the ability to hold a runner, do it, but if stops up, I just need to see how we interact here. This is our value low of our sell side candle that led to downside. Just expect a bit of chop here. I think we might need to pull back to this 210, 220 area first before we can continue. Just like retest this liquidity here. And then go out after that. Gonna keep an eye on it. Maybe I missed the next leg. It's whatever. And we just stalled out, so lost momentum is an exit for me. Especially as ES comes back up into our 349. If I can see like a nice strong secondary bid, then I'll get back in.
Mexican President Scheinbaum rules out a bilateral trade agreement with Canada, says it's not necessary.
It's holding decently so far. Just I'm not incredibly convinced yet. Like we're holding at 240, which is good on NQ, but if we push below if we push back below 220 230, 240, I have concerns. I'm just gonna wait until new 15 for a decision to be made and then look for a new trade. Again, I'm personally flat. I see a big seller at 260. Just advertising. Just gonna wait till new 15's open to see if we get back in or not. This can easily keep running back up to our wick highs up at 285 on NQ. But I'd like to see something a bit more clear here in this action. Thinking like pull back to this maybe, and then we go. It doesn't have to do it, but that would be interesting to me.
The Dow turns positive, last up 0.14%.
20 seconds to new 15s. Just gonna watch to see where we close and then how we interact with the POC of this candle. Okay, so let's watch 240 for bid. Same thing on ES. Because this will like either bid here and hold, or this will be where we flip below and then this will be like a lower absorption. Into our absorption here on ES. Again, just waiting to see if we get a pullback. We know that this is our seller. Again, I'm not looking for any sort of continuation until I see us push above this. Personally, I'm just looking for look aboves and fails in here, and then rotations back down, just like we played. If this is able to push, then we can change our bias, but I'll wait, see what happens. Into our 340 here. Let's see how the bid interacts. If this flips, then it's going to be a rotation back down off of a lower high like we talked about. Watching just this like 335, 340, seeing if this buyer can hold or if we'll flip it, and then that goes offer. 240 still holding on NQ. Again, just watching this like 235, 240, seeing if it can maintain here or if it'll flip. Just building at our POC of previous candle. Very two-sided. Looking like a flip to me. Watching reoffer for rotations back down. See what they do. Seller trying to push this thing down. Very two-sided. Just watching to see like a reversion to 200, 210 here off of 40 flipping. Yeah. Watching our interaction here. I don't see anything yet that I want to be like playing off of long-wise. I just want to see if we're gonna get the reversion down. ES looks much better, but again, like it's very hard to want a long here. Yeah, okay. I'm wrong. I will wait. I just don't believe in this upside. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm basically just looking for failures here. High was taken there. That might be all we get. I mean, I need to see like a very clear bid, or I'm still short bias. Just waiting. I have like no faith until we push through this. New 15s have opened. I'm watching this like 285, 305 area to see if sell side holds here. And if we rotate back down or if this flips, then we can keep going up. Same thing with ES, just to seeing if we absorb here and then fail and then look back below. I really don't like longs up here, but I mean, if we flip 59 and go supportive and start to build above, then you can look longs on ES, but I need to see it to believe it. I mean, this is my risk right now. This is what I'm looking at. And if I get stopped, I get stopped. But I personally think that this isn't ready. I'll take my first risk off here into 265 and then see if we can leave runners here. Watching our re-offer here into like 285. ES still holding where it needs to.
India says that they will take actions to protect national interests.
India adding that the additional US tariffs are unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable.
Oh. Un.
Indian government says it's unfortunate that the US should choose to impose additional tariffs on India.
Do. Minute 30, it's only 15. Still just in our absorption area.
Indian government says we have made our position clear on issues regarding oil imports from Russia.
Yeah, I added it for you guys. I have to go very shortly though, sadly. Hoping we get a directional decision before that happens. This bid looks fine still. It's just very two-sided. I'm just waiting. Holding our 49s, no problem. Need to step over 59 for more. And then hold that as supportive. Same thing on ES. Need to show interest above 305, or I'm just going to be looking at this again. It's just where we absorb and then we put in a lower high. First PT is going to be into this 65, 62. Second PT would be down. If we can push above, and then we can start to look up. I've got to see it first. We're still holding these POCs, which is fine. We have our next target here into this liquidity if we can step over and hold. Just waiting. See if they continue to take in here or if they fail. I got stopped on my runners at 305 from where we took profit at 262. Now just waiting to see if we can hold above, or again, if this looks below, and then we try the same thing again, failing up here. Offer sitting at 320 on NQ. ES pushing into our 59 off of our hold of our 49.
The Swiss president says, I had a good meeting with the US Secretary of State following the meeting to discuss tariffs.
Watching our rebid here into 305. See if we can hold this like 295, 305 is supportive on the look above. Or if this will flip and then go offer again.
The Swiss president declines to answer the question if Switzerland could offer more to secure a better tariff deal. So again, Swiss president declines to answer the question whether Switzerland could offer more to secure a better tariff deal.
Just filled my first 5 contracts there into 320 off our hold of 305. Going to see if we get continued upside or if that's it. Offer sitting here at 20. See if we get the full move.
US Secretary of State Rubio says, "I'll have more to say later today when asked if sanctions against Russia will still go into effect this week." Rubio says, "I just got off the phone with Witkoff a few minutes ago, and we'll have more discussions today." So again, keep in mind, US envoy Witkoff having a meeting with Russia's Putin today. US Secretary of State Rubio saying he just got off the phone with Witkoff a few minutes ago, and we'll have more discussions today. US Secretary of State Rubio adds that hopefully there will be some announcements soon. Maybe positive, maybe not.
Just took off 1 into 25, leaving runners for rotations back up to 50, 60.
CNBC, citing White House officials, says Apple will remain largely unaffected by the tariffs targeting India. Apple shares extending gains up as much as 5.5% now.
We have 30 seconds until new 15s and EU close. Just watching to see if we can continue to build here. It is a little thick up here. Uptrend still intact, still holding POCs is supportive, no shift from that. Still just trailing these, letting these run. Again, I think ES goes to 71, just in a target off of the flip of our directional pivot. Held our low at our 349, bid at 59s, and then rotating up into our next target here into 71 to 75. I have a PT here, a limit placed at 340, 360, 375 on NQ. This is my last trade, and then I got a dip. Might even have to dip while I'm still in it and just get stopped. All right, just filled one at 340.
Apple shares here extending gains to 5.8%, up the most since May the 12th. Keep in mind, this is following reports that Apple is due to invest a further $100 billion into the US, where Trump is due to be announcing this later this evening at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Alongside this, we just saw the headline that Apple will remain largely unaffected by the tariffs targeting India, again causing gains to extend to as much as 5.8%.
All right, I just took off another. They're starting to show a decent amount of size. I'm just gonna leave runners to 94 stop, and then my limits above. I think we can move to 80, but I don't know how much of a pullback we're gonna need. Just gonna allow this to play. I have to go. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to do as much as I could here. I think you've got room. We were able to flip our pivot. If at any point we step back below this, and then hold this as offer, we go down. If this can continue to go up, we go up. Levels are labeled, zones are labeled, all the way up to 470. So we have very clear magnets above. Let me just go over that real quick. So buyer absorption still maintaining, our low is still maintaining. I'm not looking for a huge downside for this gap fill until we can get below this 315. This just looks like balance to me, and this looks like we're attempting to break out. There's a very clear upper range here, right, from Globex. We are trading in this, so that's why it is my target. What happens as soon as we hold 59s? Well, we rotate back up to these value highs, right, into our 71 to 75. It's just a balance trade here off of this flip. If sell side was serious, they would have held this just like they attempted last time, and then we rotated down. We now saw an attempt to build here. We held our 49s. We then held our 59s, and now we're rotating back up to our value high. So look at this as a balance trade up here on ES between 70 and 60. If we can flip this 75 and show interest above the ability to hold here, we can rotate up to 402. To 410. This would be a retest of these highs over here and back into this balance. And just use these as pivots to play around balance. But right now, again, you're just trading in this upper little distribution here, and you should respect these zones. If we pull back and rotate below 49s and then offer it, this will rotate back down. We are still in lower highs, right? This is still nothing crazy. This is still just chop, and we still have very clear highs up here, so we need to see how we interact.
US stocks extending gains,
gap has
S&P
maintained,
500 up
rotating up
0.68%,
into these
Nasdaq
highs.
up 0.86%, and the Dow up
We'll see what happens,
0.30%.
but again, ES is fully labeled. Zones are good. held our lows, rotated back through, now rotating higher. Just keep an eye on your POCs. As long as we're maintaining upside POCs is supportive on new 15s, you still have trend. As soon as that starts to shift and we start to use those as resistance, remember the setup, right? Watch your POC to your value. Use that as your risk, play off of that as your short area to where you're trying, and then go look for continuation down. If we continue to hold value high to POC as supportive, longs are still in play, right? If we're still holding POC to value high as supportive, we look up for continuation in trend. If we are holding POC to value high as supportive, we are looking for upside. If we are holding value low to POC as resistance from a look below, look at that as your offering point, right? Keep your trades simple. Understand, just keep it logical. Only be shorting against once we are on a reoffer, once we see that flip. Until then, think of it as balance. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry it's a short session today, but I will be here tomorrow. All right. Hopefully I can come back in the afternoon, but I don't have incredibly high hopes. We'll see. All right. Bye, guys. I will post my chart so that you guys have it.